Welcome back here on the Senior Network. We're now joined by Jim Keith, Keith's Funeral Home. Great to see you, Jim.
Good to be here. Good to be here, Greg.
You look great. Love the tie.
Oh yeah, gotta get away from that black, the black suit and the black top hat. I gotta get away from that.
What's going on with Keith's Funeral Home right now?
Well, we're busy. It's that pre-planning thing, and I was thinking on the way over here. This is a local TV show with local personalities. I guess I called you personality. Local topics.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to reinforce that when you're looking at funeral service, go local. Go to locally owned. That's make sure they're licensed. Always
a lot of them are being bought up, like you said before, right? Yeah, and they're run by somebody far off in some other state. Yeah.
Yep, and their community service is based on what they decide in Florida or Texas or wherever the big corporations are.
Yeah.
But so good advice is always ask if the person you're meeting with is a licensed funeral director.
Okay.
If you are doing pre-planning and you are going to pay in advance, make sure they are a licensed funeral director as well as a licensed insurance agent. You don't want to look for two separate signatures on your contracts, because that's a sign that you're only getting half of what you really deserve.
And that's by state licensed, or?
Yeah, everything's by state licensed. Yeah.
Okay, by the state, okay.
Yep.
And obviously, folks that don't know, you are right here on Hilton Head Island.
Arrow Road, 63 Arrow Road. And the people that don't really know us, we'll get a chance. We're putting out a resource guide. It's really cool. And it's going to have all the things you really need to know about funeral service. Explanations for someone who has no idea what they're doing, checklists for people to tell their families, look here, this is what I want, this is what you need to know, this is where the money is, this is where the insurance policies are, that type of stuff. But we took it a step further where we have an attorney. We have a couple financial planners. We have a couple real estate agents. We even have a home chef.
Wow.
Just so when the families get together, they have a resource guide that they can just pull out and say, okay, well, these people have all been vetted by Mr. Keith. Right. Not Mr., I don't like Mr., but at least I know everybody.
You've earned that.
Yeah, I've tried, I think, 32 years in the business.
Well, I haven't been to your place in a while, but I know the last time I was there, you've done a lot of work on that building. Gorgeous.
Thank you. Yeah, we're trying. We're trying. So, I think we were talking earlier before we got started, you were asking me if people still did wakes.
Exactly. Great point.
Yeah, and it was funny because I said I've been doing this 32 years, and in 32 years I've had 2 wakes, the true wakes at the home. Both were Irish, both were the same family. Now everybody goes to a funeral home, where in the old days you went to the person's home, and that was called a wake.
Okay.
And the wakes, the way that word even came by, I think it was in Europe, in 17th or 18th century, where people would make their homemade brew and they would drink it until they passed out. And then you didn't know there was no real test for death. There still really isn't a real test for death. There's only one, but we're not going into that. But they would wait around and to see if the guy woke up, and that was called a wake.
Very interesting.
So a lot of cool stuff has come out of funeral terminologies. In England, in the late 1800s, people were scared about being buried alive. There was just a phobia that went around, and then the media, like today, the media creates a frenzy. And so they had bells that would have a rope go down into the casket and had a hole in the top of the casket so that if the person woke up, he could pull the string on the bell, and that was called a dead ringer.
Wow.
And then you had to have someone at night listen for that bell, and that was the graveyard shift.
Very interesting.
Yeah, kind of stuff.
Well, and it made me think as you're talking here too, things have changed so much, and being on an island, I'm assuming you do there's a lot of cremation, correct?
We are. We're 85% cremation.
Yeah.
And I was thinking last night, I embalmed this lady who's going to be shipped out of state.
Okay.
And I was looking at my embalming machine. It was probably circa 1950.
Wow.
Using the same techniques that they've done since the Civil War, basically, which is when embalming got started, was in the Civil War.
Okay.
And I actually worked for the oldest funeral home in America. It was founded by Jacob Knorr in 1762 in Germantown area of Philadelphia, and that was Kirk and Nice.
Wow.
It was pretty cool. And then in 1777, when it was captured by the British at the Battle of Germantown, They they were all cabinet makers and carpenters back then. They made the people make 96 caskets. So we always said that was the busiest day ever. So.
Wow, I wish we had another 30 minutes. That's a great information, a history lesson for us all, Jim. Appreciate that.
You're quite welcome.
And great to see you again, Jim, okay?
Thank you much, Greg.
Stay with us, more to come here on the Senior Network.